Okay, so round 3, working hours, overtime, and leave. Working hours, I think it's quite similar. I think China, 40-hour weeks.
Yes, so a 40-hour week and 8 hour per day. So I think it's a normal working hour, and so if you want to overtime, but the limits of overtime to 3 hours per day and 36 hours per month. So it's a limit of the overtime. And excessive overtime may result in order to rectify a warning or fines from labor authorities. So it's strict. So we can see the 996 is common in internet industry or some financial industry, but I think it's clearly violate the labor laws the requirement. Yes.
Yeah, so it's one. Yeah, I was going to ask. So there is this culture in 996.
Yes, it's very.
And I guess it's an unwritten sort of willingness or agreement with the employees who are willing to accept it, maybe due to the job market demand and the industry and their career progression. But actually, it is violation of the labor law.
Yes,
the overtime.
Actually, it's valid labor law. We don't initiative. This is 996 culture. I think it's dangerous. The risk, have the risk, right? Okay.
Yeah, and it is obviously a lot of companies. I mean, there is some change in that as well. I think, and also many employees sort of not really accepting this, and you come across the Peng. But yeah, and then in the UK, then how about the working week and overtime? What's the...
So again, it's a 48-hour maximum working week. If you're going to work more than that, you opt out of that sort of maximum level. So employees can sign an opt-out form that says that they're prepared to work more than 48 hours a week, which most lawyers sign, funnily enough.
Yes.
This 996, I understand to be 9 till 9, 6 days a week. Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are some lawyers who'll recognise that pattern of work, I'm sure. But that is quite unusual in the UK, and now there is much more of a push for work-life balance.
Yeah.
And a lot more requests for flexible working as well. So flexible working may be shorter hours or hybrid working not always in the office, working from home. That's very much a trend in the UK now, which I'm not sure whether that's such a trend in China at the moment. In terms of overtime, there's not really any statutory rules around overtime. And a lot of the hours that people work over 48 hours won't be overtime. They'll be sort of people in professions where there's no measure of the time, really. Overtime doesn't have to be paid at an enhanced rate. It can just be more money at the same basic rate.
Yeah.
In some, nursing, police, sort of those service industries, they probably pay double time on bank holidays and things like that, maybe time and a half for overtime. But in most jobs, there's not an enhanced overtime rate. So I think that's probably quite a fundamental difference in terms of how that's treated.
And then, in China, overtime pay is paid higher, isn't it?
Yeah, so actually it's a mandatory pay. It's not allowed to negotiate with the employees. So if your overtime on working day no less than 150% of the employee's regular wage, and on the rest day, for example, Saturday or Sunday, and no less than 200% of the wage. If no compensatory time off is given, so you can
can give compensatory
leave to them, But if you fail to give the leave, you must pay the 200%
Okay.
of
Yeah.
the salary. And the on statutory holidays, for example, national holiday, so labor law holiday is a mandatory holiday if you overtime. So the less than 300% of the
Gosh.
Yeah.
We have in China there are 11 days. It's a mandatory holiday. So what about the UK? Is it longer?
8.
8. 8.
Yes,
Okay.
only 8.
Only 8
Statutory
holiday.
holiday.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
In China, it's 11.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, for us, from a supply chain, we're, supply chain focused employer of record. We do get employees, especially quality QC engineers, who have to work overtime, on weekends, etc. But we do implement a very strict leave process, so they get their compensatory leave. But look, fortunately for us, all the factories are shut on the national holidays as well. So all of our employees, with very few exceptions, they're all, they don't have any work to do, so they never really work over the holiday periods. But it is something that I think a lot of companies need to be wary of when, and there's also this culture. I mean, a lot of people are very willing to work overtime, but
Yes, the money. You can pay more money.
for the money.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think employers can sometimes lose track of that, and then maybe when things are less positive, with the employee, they can come back and say, I've been working overtime and all of this, and you haven't paid me X, Y, and Z. And so I think there's quite a lot of retrospective sort of challenge there, where employees are willing to do it at the time, but then they can go back and say, oh, I was never paid for all of that overtime.
Yes.
So it can be tricky.
So you just said about with the QC people, they have to work at the weekends sometimes as part of the job. So can you not have people working shifts?
Yes.
So maybe their normal working day is Wednesday to Sunday or Tuesday to Sunday.
Sure.
Rather than paying overtime.
So yes, actually, for these things, our resolution is to sign so paperwork or contract. So what about your working time? Clearly, clearly, and the money. So we can negotiate with the employee about that. If you work 6 days per week, so your totally wage is how much? So I think that's a very valid. But you cannot. But the salary, if the salary is lower than the minimum wage, it's not valid. It's not valid. Right.
Oh, I
so
see.
You
So
cannot.
for example,
you cannot lower than the
So for example, they do a 40-hour working week. And then at the minimum wage, you can't make them do 6 days a week. You have 48 hours on the same wage. Because in other words, that would be wage. Yeah.
Yes.
But you could give them that working week like that, but they'd have to be on a salary that reflects it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And another thing is that if the company arrange an employee work in a statutory holiday, you must pay the overtime compensation, overtime salary. You cannot give them leave to substitute.
Yeah.
Whereas in the UK, you can give leave.
You can give leave. It's a statutory holiday.
Yeah.
But so what? How much? So how long? It's the same day. Just the same day.
Yeah.
If I worked in the statutory holiday, the company just give me one day to substitute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, if you want people to work bank holidays, statutory holidays, you might decide to offer an incentive.
I think that's also something that I've realised is in the UK, in many aspects. Of course, the statutory law is actually more friendly to employers than China law. But I think a lot of the reality in the contracts is more dictated by the market, by the labour market. I think in China, maybe more people might be willing to work on those holidays, and therefore the statutory law says you must pay them. Whereas in the UK, I think there'll be less people willing to do it, so therefore you have to pay them.
Yes, because maybe the UK people want to relax, want to rest, but the Chinese people want to work.
I suppose that might be true.
That's different.
I'm sure there's an exception to
that. Like bringing your mother on a podcast. So that's about overtime, and then just about holiday in general. So the UK, how many days annual leave?
The statutory minimum is 28 days, which includes the 8 bank holidays.
So 20
so
days.
It's 20 days plus the statutory holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, and in China?
In China, so it depends the year of continuous service, and from 5 days to 10 days. That's different. So if you service 1 to 10 years, consecutive 1 to 10 years, you have 5 days holiday, the annual leave. That means annual leave. And if you work 10 to 20 years, you have 10 days annual leave. If you work over 20 years, you have 50 annual leave, 50 days annual leave. Yeah.
And then if you're 0 to 1, is
0 to 10.
0 to 10.
0 to 10 years, 1 to 10 years actually.
Yeah.
You must consecutive 1 year, so you have to qualify to the annual leave.
To get annual leave.
Yes. So the 1 to 10 years, you have 5 days. 10 to 20 years, you have 10 days. And over 20 years, you have 50 days.
Yeah.
And then the statutory holidays on top of that.
Yes. And the statutory holiday is 11.
11.
Right.
11 plus 11. Yes. So
like I would be entitled to 15 plus 11.
15 plus 11.
It's 26.
Yeah. 26. Yes. That's the longest.
Yeah. But what I find interesting...
But a lot of company, especially in a foreign-related company, maybe give the bonus leave.
A bit more.
That's a different. It's not a mandatory. This is mandatory.
Yeah.
So minimum annual leave.
Yeah.
But a lot of company maybe give longer.
Yeah,
annual
which
leave.
is the same in the UK.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is interesting. I mean, when we're comparing these labour laws, and it is one area where, let's say you leave university and you get your first job. In China, you wouldn't get any annual leave.
Yes.
Apart from the 11
during
days,
the first 1 year.
Yeah.
You have no.
You're not entitled to that.
Yes. You must working consecutive
1 year.
1 year.
Whereas in the UK, once you leave university and then you go into your first job, you're entitled to 20 plus 8 national holidays.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then obviously, so in the first 10 years of working in China, you're entitled to 5 working days. But again, in the UK, you'd be entitled to 20. So I think it is an area where the UK is a lot more employee friendly when it comes to holiday.
Yeah.
So if the employer cannot arrange the annual leave, you must pay the compensation 200%. 1 day. So sometimes maybe because of the working reason. So if I apply to the company, I need to enjoy my annual leave for 10 days or for 5 days, but the company will say no, you must work, continue to work. So this is okay, but you must pay me the 200%.
So unused holiday in the UK, what's the...
Well, strictly speaking, in the UK, you can't carry over statutory holiday. So you use it or lose it is basically the terminology. So, if you don't take your holiday, then it won't go to the next year. It's just gone.
It just
finished.
just
No-
finished.
Yeah. The only time you get paid for holiday is when you resign or when you're dismissed.
But in this scenario, it's not my fault because it was a company. You said you must work because some reason you must work. You cannot leave your work.
But
So-
in the UK, responsible companies anyway will look at the annual leave for their employees and encourage them to take it at different stages during the year.
Okay, I
So don't leave it until the last part of the holiday year, otherwise you might lose it.
Okay.
And sometimes I agree it is a problem. You get a bit later in the year, you've got a lot of holiday and it's very busy at work.
Yes.
Clients want everything done immediately,
Less
and it's difficult to take the holiday.
Yes.
But there's no compensation.
I see.
I mean, in our manufacturing supply chain industry, there are busy periods and there are less busy periods, and so
Yeah, you have to manage it.
a lot of our employees will take extended holiday around Chinese New Year because a lot of the factory, and so they'll use quite a lot of their annual leave around Chinese New Year or around sort of other periods because and again it is something that we have to track and make sure that they use it. Because like you said, in China, if they don't use it, then you have to compensate for it. But it's also important. They need a rest.
Yes.
It's not just about the money.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then you can in the employment contract in the UK you can put a clause that says that people are allowed to carry some holiday over to the next year. Usually it's a maximum of 3 days and it has to be taken quite early in the new holiday year. But that sometimes compounds the problem because then they have more holiday the next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, it's a big part of our job making sure that people take that.
But in China, the company has a title to arrange the annual leave to the next year. So if you cannot arrange the annual leave next year, you must pay the compensation to the employee.
So you can carry it over for 1 year, and then if they don't
just
use
the 1
it,
year.
then they
Just
pay
the 1
the
year.
compensation.
Yes, just the 1 year.
Okay.
So it depends the working arrangement.
Yeah.
And yes.
And how about sick leave? Both on how does that work in the UK?
So, well, obviously people do go sick leave, and companies pay either statutory sick pay, which is that's a statutory payment, which is normally significantly less than somebody's salary. It's £118 a week, which is about 1,120 RMB a week, which in the UK that would be quite a small amount compared with salary. That lasts for 26 weeks. So so the first 3 days you don't get anything under the statutory regime. Then that lasts for 26 weeks, providing you've got a doctor's certificate to show what the illness is. And it can be physical or mental. You still qualify for statutory sick pay. Or some organisations, some employers pay contractual sick pay, and they normally get they take out insurance to help pay, to support them paying contractual sick pay.
I see.
In some industries, in some sectors like teaching, hospitals, those sectors which are quite heavily union influenced, employees have up to 6 months on full pay and 6 months on half pay. But in more commercial industries, that's not the norm, as you can imagine.
Yes, I see.
And sick pay in China is
in
quite
China,
different
it's
levels.
quite clear. So if you want to the sick leave, you must acquire first. You must acquire the diagnosis certificate from the specified hospital.
Yeah.
So you cannot to a little hospital. You must clinic is not okay. You must you must go to the
to a public hospital.
or some qualified hospital.
Okay.
That's the first one. The second one, so you can enjoy the sick leave, but the wage is very low. Just maybe in Guangdong premise, there's if you have no another negotiation agreement, you the company just pay the minimum age 80% of minimum wage to the employees. It's a very
so even if they have a higher wage than minimum wage, they only get 80% of the
minimum wage every day. So I think it's not very high. But the second one about the medical period, if you are sick during the sick leave, you can enjoy the medical period. During this medical period, the company cannot terminate your the employee's contract according to the 40 clause or 41 clause. You cannot redundancy. This employees. And the medical period calculates about maybe 3 months, from 3 months to 24 months during your work in this company.
It depends on the length of service in the company.
Yes, service
and also the severity of the illness. Or is
depends on your work in the company.
Yeah.
The period. If the work is longer, your medical period is longer. So
okay.
I see. And the severity of the illness is obviously the doctor. Yeah, if you still have an illness, then you still get you still get the
the precondition is you still
the precondition is that you're still actually
still
ill,
of course you must get the certification.
So
for example, you mentioned as you mentioned the mental healthy. Right.
Yeah. Well, this is another areas.
Actually, the depression, something more nowadays is very common in a society. So a lot of employees must suffer the depression, the mental healthy problems. So they must acquire the certification from the hospital. Then they, according to the medical period, they can enjoy the benefit of the sick leave.
So in the UK, the certificate to prove the condition, the illness, that can come from what we call a GP, a general practitioner, so just a local doctor. You don't have to have a very experienced consultant or anybody else like that. And, sometimes the local doctors will be happy to give these certificates out. So it's relatively easy to prove that you're sick.
Okay.
But it only lasts for 26 weeks in the UK, the payment. I mean, people can be off sick longer, but they'll only get the statutory sick pay for 26 weeks. And it's the same amount irrespective of how much you earn. So.
And how about the sort of redundancy or?
Well, in terms of people who are on sick leave, they can be made redundant while they're on sick leave. Not because they're on sick leave, that would be that would get you into trouble. But if you've got a genuine redundancy situation and somebody's absent on sick leave, especially like if you were closing a place down, you don't have to keep employing them. But you would have to be very careful to make sure that you're able to contact them and they understood what was happening. But you couldn't and sometimes people are dismissed for absence. And for their lack of capability while they're on sick leave. But that is definitely a dismissal that you would speak to a lawyer about before, if you wanted to avoid some of the pitfalls.
Sure.
And finally, on the leave area, maternity. So in the UK, maternity leave is...
Well, there's maternity leave and maternity pay. They're sort of two different entitlements. That you're entitled to be away from work for up to 52 weeks,
52.
So a year. Of 39 of those weeks would be paid. The first 6 weeks are paid at 90% of salary.
Okay.
And then there's a basic lower rate, which I think is about £180 a week. for the remaining 33 weeks. So, and there are quite a lot of protections for women who are on maternity leave as well.
And and the employer pays it, but they can claim a rebate.
Yeah, depending. Yeah,
Yeah.
they can.
Maternity leave in China.
So normally-
it varies, doesn't it?
Yes, but normally it's 98 days for the maternity leave, and in Guangdong province, and we have the bonus leave. It's 80 days bonus leave. That means that's 98 days plus 80
Yeah, so it could
days.
be
Yes,
over 100.
it's over so maybe more than will be 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months, and if it's a mandatory leave, so the payment of the employee was borne by the social insurance,
Yeah.
but the bonus leave, the salary be paid by the company. On the company.
And the bonus leave, is that mandatory?
It's mandatory because it's a Guangdong local policy.
Yeah.
Because it's encourage people to have baby.
Yeah.
Yes. So give the 80 days, more than 80 days.
But that encouragement is then actually borne by the company. So
Yeah.
the policy creates.
So that's arguable. That's
the
arguable.
challenge.
That
Yeah.
means there's a lot of people. So that's maybe you will hear young women. So you must think about these things. So maybe they have another baby in the near future. So I need to pay the bonus leave. So that's not very good to the young women, I think.
Because it will make companies.
Make company extra cost.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's essentially around 3 months which is covered by the social insurance. And some provinces is only 3 months. It's only 98 days.
98 days.
And then the bonus some provinces are just 15 days extra.
Yeah.
Some are as high. I think Shanghai is another one, which is up to 80 days as well, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, and in Guangdong, I think it have the paternity so leave is a father. The father has a paternity leave is 15 days.
Oh,
Paternity day, yes.
50.
50.
50.
15 days.
15.
Yeah, yes. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So is that 15 working days or is it 3
15,
weeks
15
or
days.
15
days, not working days.
'cause-
15 days.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when the woman's on maternity leave, does she get paid the same salary?
Same
Her
salary.
full
Normal salary.
Normal salary.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's quite a lot more generous. In the UK, companies can pay more, but obviously that comes from their finances. It's not
Okay.
supported by the government or anything like that.
Okay, yes.
But then they accrue the holiday that they in the UK because it's unpaid, isn't it? You
Yeah.
only get the.
But in China, including the holiday, so we don't distinguish the holiday or as a working day or
Yeah.
rest day.
Yeah.
It's a 98 day is just it's a whole things. It's
Yeah.
not specified. It's
So-
distinguished.
In the UK, if a woman's off for a year, she will have accrued the 28 days holiday. So she could then have 28 days holiday. So she could be off for 1 year and 28 days. I think one of the interesting things in the UK is the protection which has extended last year. So from the point where the woman tells her employer that she's pregnant to 18 months after the baby's born, there is maternity protection, which in terms of redundancy means that if there's a suitable alternative role, the pregnant or the woman who's had the baby within that protected period must be offered that role.
Yes, in China it's the same because during the pregnant and the maternity And breast fasting about after the baby birth 1 year, after 1 year, during this period, they cannot be redundancy. They are special protection.
Okay, so that's for 1 year after the baby.
After the baby birth.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a bread. So how to say? It's a breakfast. 哺乳期. Breast forcing. I can
Breastfeeding.
When they're breastfeeding.
breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Breastfeeding.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then in the UK, it's 18 months. So.
Yeah.
18.
18 months.
18 months.
It just went up last year
18 months.
to 18
okay,
months.
Okay.
Right, yeah. So just to summarize that, we've covered a lot in a big topic, that one. Working hours, overtime, leave, both statutory, annual leave, sick leave, maternity and paternity leave. So big round there.
Yes.